Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session today. Mix, Pour, Share, the rum cocktail for biomedical project packaging. From the University of Miami, I am Kyle Grealis, and along with Dr. Raymond Belize, we'd like to present to you RUM version 2.2, Rum Runner. So what is rum and what is rum? Well, rum, the noun, is what we've likely associated with the word itself, and simply put, it's an alcoholic beverage. And rum, the adjective, can be described as strange or odd or difficult and dangerous. Rum, the package, though, removes the strange and odd and difficult and dangerous by bundling together some tools to help package development and project ecosystems designed with collaboration and reproducibility in mind. What RUM does is it affords you the opportunity to stick with what you're comfortable. So you can use R Markdown, but we encourage you to use Quarto, create academic journal templates, one-line commands to build a package, and one-line commands to create Reveal.js slideshows. The plan for today is to mention the reproducibility crisis, how R Markdown and Quarto come to the rescue, what about other package and project files, and how to create packages with RUM and slideshows with RUM, and let's unveil some new features for RUM version 2.2. Do you see different results when you try to repeat the methods of a published manuscript using a new independent sample? Can you repeat the analysis in a published paper if you are given the original data, or do the same thing on your own studies? Do you get similar results on a new sample, or do you get the same results on the original sample? Now, these highlight and define the reproducibility crisis. Since we must be able to replicate our work time and again, we rely on our heroes, R Markdown and Quarto, and these reproducibility crime fighters help to protect the academic process by mixing code and prose for the win, and the only thing we need to do is just add the science. So what tools does RUM provide to solve the reproducibility crisis? Well, Make Package provides you with a research paper shell as a vignette and the other files and directories required to build a package. Along with that, we give you supporting files such as an advanced git ignore and other communication files as well, such as the dated progress notes and a structured README. Make Project provides you with the same research paper shell, but now this lives in the project root directory instead of the vignettes directory. Bundled with that, you get the same advanced git ignore and some other files for communication like that README and dated progress notes. So now, let's install RUM and create a package. But when you install RUM, you also get the Tidy Models ecosystem. It's something that we use frequently. You get Patchwork and other static plotting packages, as well as the necessary tools to build a package within R. Start by editing your R profile and add some author content. So when you make a package, this gets imported into your description file. Save, restart, and apply the changes. What this looks like in real time is pretty easy. Let's go to our console, edit the R profile. It opens for us immediately using the use this package, copy and paste. Let's then save, navigate to session, and restart that session. To initialize a RUM package project, we encourage you to use example code. We will get into what that is, but let's create the package here. So we use the quotation marks dot. But if you are in a project already that has a .rproj file, use the overwrite true option, accept your way through the prompts, and accept to quit and restart the session. RUM will provide feedback with what we give you along the way. If you use Positron, you may not get some of these questions, but just know that the functionality works all the same and you can trust to move forward. The package itself initializes with an enhanced git ignore file, and let's touch upon that real quick. We've added in some different file types to guide you through the process and see if we can assist in not leaking data. Always check with your data security officers before using any data within a repository type setting or sharing with other collaborators. Let's add a license, use proprietary license, and then I just pass in my own name. We'll then check, or if you use the console, you can use DevTools check. If you get this message, and we've seen this frequently, you can ignore this and move forward. We're almost finished, but we need to get to the biggest part, which is the description file. So let's choose a name for our package. We can use the available package with a valid package name function. Notice that underscores and spaces are invalid, but using camel case and the period is acceptable. If you use more than one author, be sure that on lines 5 and 12 in our example here, we only designate one person as being the creator which is also known as the package maintainer. And we've wrapped both of them in the C function. Edit the description. Here you can see that on line 21. Just add a quick description for what your package is. Save and recheck. Let's then open the vignettes directory, and we can see that there have been files for citation content. And this is for your bibliography and your references section. The analysis.qmd inside that vignettes directory will become the package vignette. Again, we need some modifications here. So line 2 is the title, which must match exactly line 7. We encourage you to do that. But then when you are modifying line 7, do not include quotation marks. Okay, so it looks like this. We use my test vignette with the quotation and without quotation, then again on line 7. But what about the vignette itself? We've chosen to use R Markdown style code section labels. So if you collapse, you can still see the name of the code chunk. This does not happen if you use Quarto and you use the hash pipe label option. We load in conflicted. So if you have two packages that share the same function name, you get nice messages. And the template is already configured with the abstract, the introduction to methods, and the results section. Now, when you use example equals true option with rUM, we will give you the mtcars dataset, the GT summary with a table summary, and a ggplot object. But what's most important about this is we show you how to cross-reference. So the @tbl- and the @fig- is how you can use the inner document links to the rendered display, okay? And we will get to that. So let's see what this looks like. We've edited the R profile, and now we want to start the package process. So we will create it here, use the example, and we will overwrite the existing rproj file. We will accept to quit and restart the session. And so Posit Cloud will just reopen for me right here with all of the new files added to the project directory. Let's create the license and then quickly check, and I'll speed this up. And this is the note that I was telling you about. We can ignore this for now and move forward to editing the description. Let's open it up wider and add the package name, the title, and some other information that's necessary. All right, let's save. Next thing that we are going to do is open the vignettes directory. We can see the other .bib files and whatnot, and open the analysis QMD. Let's change that title to match what's going to be on line 7. So inside quotes, and this one is not inside of quotes. Let's change the author name. Great. And scroll through. We can see that we have that structure, that abstract introduction, methods, and results structure. But let's check out this cross-referencing here. We have TBL- and @TBL-. So this is how we cross-reference the table. And the same thing, same setup for how we do this here in Quarto with figures as well. And this is what the vignette will eventually look like, but we're working our way there. So what does Make Project do? Well, it gives you that same analysis.qmd template file, but it's not living inside of the vignettes directory, but rather in the project root. Again, the only thing you need to do is to add the science. So to contrast Make Project with Make Package, Make Package will not provide you with the custom CSS, and that's because the package vignettes were previously advised against using any kind of customizations like that, but you can check out the link here to see how that's recently changed, but we've not included that in our templates just yet. What about other type of package files though? Where does my dataset documentation go, and how do I get it there? Well, using rUM's new write-man function, we offer you a template now for creating that data set, okay, the dataset documentation. So we add our data to our current project, we library medical data, and we do use this use data because that takes a copy of the data and makes it into the correct format and places it in the correct folder. And then we can begin to document with rUM using write-man. So we write-man on the laryngoscope dataset, and you can see the documentation file was created at r-laryngoscope.r. And when we open that up, we have the oxygen skeleton. We need to modify the line 3 description, the variable descriptions, but also take notice that we've going through the labor of parsing out what are the data types for you. So we give you the boilerplate here. Just make sure to modify if you have sourced your information from someplace, add that to the next to last line. Again, run through the documentation part, and we're getting so close to finalizing the package. So let's run through a check, and then we can build install. I like to use the console for this step to do DevTools check, but with DevTools install passing build vignettes equals true, I want to deliberately say, hey, take all the stuff I just created, bundle it into the package. That's what I prefer to use. And then I load the package itself. We will then navigate to the packages pane in our IDE and search for the new package after we refresh. Okay, and then we can see the new documentation that we've just used. In lifetime, what this looks like, we start again from where we left off with the open vignette. Let's add in some data. Use data. Again, take a copy of that laryngoscope data set, put it into the correct .rda format and into the correct location. And now we use the power of rUM to right man. Let's open up that R laryngoscope file and see what the template looks like. Amazing. And now I'm just going to fast forward and copy in some content. I've added this description, and you can see every variable now has the description. I'm going to document this. And then the next step is always to check. Get used to the document check. It's a really good thing to just keep going. And hey, miraculously, no more note about the timestamp. So let's do the DevTools install with build vignettes option and let this run through. I'll fast forward to save you the pain of waiting. All right, let's go to the packages pane, hit that refresh button, and let's search for new package. That's the one that we just created. And there's our description. And let's see what the vignette looks like, even though we have already seen the static image. This is it. Now in where your users will actually find it in the help pane. And we have the references formatted appropriately. Let's go back. Sorry about that. Okay, now let's open the dataset documentation, and you can see my description is there. My variable descriptions are there. And this is 95% of the way to having really good documentation. I can clean it up by moving like the values into their own lines and whatnot, but feel free to, modify that as you see fit. What about saving presentations? So this now is where we want to get into some of the new features with rUM, and that is the ability to create slides. Now we will say, let's create them into this package, and we need to put them in the inst directory. Okay, so let's create a slide deck named rUM, or we can create 2 at a time this way. Rebuild the package to actually load these. So as somebody installs your package, they get the presentations as well. So rUM write slides. Let's create the rUM slide deck with the RMed 2025 template. And inside that template, we will get an IMG directory that has the RMed hex logo, as you can see, the bottom right of your screen, and also the RMed color scheme, a default light theme from RStudio for your code cells, and other SCSS customizations. Just modify the YAML as you would for any other document for the title and the author details. And if you plan to share this, just add your URL for your GitHub repository or wherever these slides will be living, or just comment out if you choose not to do that. So let's create some slides here in our package. Okay, so we're going to create the rUM slide deck in the inst path using the RMed template. And this is what the Quarto template looks like for building the slides. Let's add in some title and author content. Great. And modify the URL description we just described. Let's save this. And now let's see what's inside this inst folder where slides now live. Okay, you can see the file we created, the light theme for RStudio, and inside the IMG. Now this is all the RMed specific templating that we've included. So let's render and see what happens. What does this look like? Now I'm sure it's going to look very familiar to you if you were at the very start of this presentation. So you have your structure, you have the different slides that we've included, and the hex logos. Great. So up here, you even have the browser tab hex logo, which is pretty cool. That's that .ico file, if you're not familiar. And let's install this. Let's build this and put everything together so we can use some of the other functionality we've included with rUM this time. If you want the TLDR on making some slides, there you go. $1 or 1 hash, and you get the news section. And that's the slide with the centered content and the bold label. This slide here uses a level 2 for another slide. This is a level 2 header with TLDR, creating slides quickly. If you want to see amazing references, please check out Emil Whitfield's SlideCraft YouTube and blog. Great information there. So what are these new features with rUM Runner? Collaborative communication. Okay, this is at the forefront of our minds. By using write notes, we created dated progress notes so you can keep track of what's going on within this project. And we've added it to the R build ignore, so it won't throw an error if you do this inside of a package. And also, we give you the ability to create a README template, and we nicely do this so we don't clobber your existing work. You've worked hard. If you'd like to add hours over top of it, go ahead and follow the prompts that way. But within that template, we challenge you to describe what are the files, what are the data types that you have, how does somebody get from your raw data to your completed research work. Let's write more Quarto documents with the rUM write Quarto function, or you can put them into a specified path, which is what you would do if you were building a package itself. Let's now add some custom SCSS. We can add a bespoke name. So my underscore custom becomes my underscore custom SCSS. And we've included some URL links in the console for you for more information. Now, rUM projects, whether it be make project or make package, include the write Quarto, write SCSS, write README, and write notes. You don't have to do them if you initialize a rUM project that way. So let's see what some of these look like in practice. Here's how to use the write notes. Let's get that dated progress notes going. There's the template there, very easy. Okay, now let's get the README. Let's open this up a little bit more, create the README template. Great, the README template's there, and you can see that there are a lot of sections that we've provided for you, and just fill in what's appropriate. But again, let's walk through new users how to get from start to finish and replicate your work. Let's add a new Quarto document. Great. I'm just going to skip through to where we create the SCSS. There we go. And that's the output that we get there. Now, the rest of the video is creating the SCSS with a different file name and how this is all bundled in with projects and packages. So let's propose a solution to a problem that we are going to create. And that's by saying, let's challenge authors to add presentations into their package. So add those slideshows into the inst directory. It's going to have the same functionality as a vignette, but now you have more presentation power, right? You can explain your data in a different form. So you have your static vignette, but you also have the slideshows too. We can find slides that exist within a package with the rUM find slides function. Just pass in the package name and it returns the list of what slideshows are available. You can then show them with the show slides function, and you can pipe from find slides to show slides. Just reuse the package name argument. So again, in real time, we are going to find the slides in our current new package that we just created, and we already know it's called rUM. And then we show the slides here in the viewer with the rUM show slides function. And these will render right in your viewer pane. Again, let's, for the sake of time, I will cut this short, but feel free to check out everything else that rUM has to offer with this. I just go through how to pipe from one to the other. And these are all the functions that are now provided by rUM. Make package and make project all include the write notes, write Quarto, write README, write SCSS. The write slides of write man exists standalone, so you have to trigger them yourself. But when you use the other make package or make project, you get the other ones bundled in. You can also use any of these outside of current rUM projects. So anywhere that you have a project, you can use them. Do please download rUM. Let us know what you think. Reach out to us. You can find me at LinkedIn. Here's my email. There's my website. Also, Dr. Belize can be reached at belize@miami.edu. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us today, and we hope you enjoy the rest of RMed 2025.
Thank you so much for this excellent overview of a really great package. I will say I am slightly biased in that I have used this package, and those of you who have attended other sessions, you've probably realized that a lot of the speakers this year have used this package because we've used rUM to make our slide decks, our Quarto slide decks for our Medicine 2025. So thank you so much for this really compelling, very promotional of reproducibility and documentation package. So I see that you're already answering questions in Q&A. I do want to encourage people, we've only got really 1 minute left, but if you've got questions, please ask them in Q&A. This is a great package. I do encourage you to download it and give it a shot.
Thank you, Joy. And I'll just take a second to ask folks to reach out, play with the package, reach out if there's different kinds of templates that you'd like to see added to rUM. definitely drop us a note. You can open an issue on GitHub, and Kyle and I will try and build things out. We built the RMed slide template with thinking that people could swap out the logos and the other images for whatever they need. So use that to build from. And again, please reach out and give us ideas about what we should grow next.
Great. And are you open to PRs if people want to make a mojito or a Cuba Libre? Are you,
Absolutely. We will add
Fantastic.
in a whole new set of packages. There'll be the yeah. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for this incredible contribution to our community. And our next talk begins in just a couple of minutes. So everyone have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next talk.
Thank you.